Before we get into today's edition of Just the Truth, Mike Lindell sent me a note yesterday. He has a special for the 6-piece towel set, $25 when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com, use promo code Joey. You'll get the $25 offer on the 6-piece towel set, and I promise you, these will be the most comfortable, the most absorbent towels that you own. mypillow.com, use promo code Joey, get the 6-piece towel set for just $25. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Tonight's the night. It's like the Super Bowl of politics as we all be gathered around to watch Donald Trump take on Joe Biden in a 90-minute debate moderated by CNN host Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. President Trump says that President Biden will be, quote, pumped up on drugs to enhance his performance at tonight's debate, including getting a big fat shot in the, you know what. Medical professionals are speaking out on what drugs the president might actually use to get him through tonight's performance. We have a full breakdown for you on that. Famed polling expert Nate Silver makes Trump heavy favorite to beat Biden in November, headline says. Not a toss-up, Silver says in his latest crystal ball prediction. The Supreme Court appears ready to temporarily allow abortions and medical emergencies in Idaho. Bloomberg News reported this yesterday, citing a document that was inadvertently posted on the court's website in an astonishing breach of protocol. Once again, does this sound familiar?
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, you know, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
Headline reads like this: Adderall, Botox, and a B12 shot in the butt. Why Trump's claim that Biden will be pumped up on drugs for debate isn't so far-fetched. Former President Trump claims that Joe Biden will be pumped up on drugs tonight in order to get through the 90-minute debate. His assertions have been dismissed by some segments of the media as just campaign bluster. But is it? Is this some of Trump's bluster? Or could this be actually what's going to happen? Private doctors to some of the rich and famous tell the New York Post that VIPs often use drug cocktails and other treatments to give themselves an edge before they take the spotlight for a big event. And you've seen this. We've seen this represented in the movies of some entertainers, that they'll have their little cocktail of various drugs that are prescribed by a doctor to get them through the performance. We've lost some good entertainers because of it. Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley. There's a long list of Hollywood entertainers who have lost their lives because they use drugs to enhance their performance. The medical professionals interviewed by the New York Post says these can include everything from peptides infusion for a boost in brain function, Botox to avoid sweaty brow. I didn't know that was an option. Did you realize that Botox can keep you from looking like you're sweating? Who was it that Rudy Giuliani during that famed press conference where his dye from his hair, remember that, was running down the side of his face. Also, Adderall is suggested that Adderall could be used to enhance his focus. And yes, some say he may even get a shot in the butt. Postgraduate students, medical students, people who work in banking or finance, Wall Street type people, big real estate moguls. Victoria Karabi, a nurse practitioner and founding partner of Beauté Aesthetics in New York City, told the New York Post, these are the types of people who use her products. She said they just need that energy and not the side effects of caffeine and illicit drugs. Biden, of course, the oldest man to serve as president, which we can fairly say he's the oldest president to be in a presidential debate as well. Trump, 78, both competing to be the oldest person to ever be elected president. When they take to the debate stage tonight, voters will be scrutinizing the candidates for any signs of weakness or cognitive decline. Imagine the pressure that Joe Biden is feeling right now. because the whole world will be watching, literally. Because you got to know that foreign heads of state, particularly Russia's Putin and some of the world leaders who don't care for Joe Biden, they're probably hoping that he falls on his face. Modern medicine can do amazing things to enhance performance. We've seen this happen. And again, entertainers use it when they're going to be under a lot of pressure to perform. So here's what a presidential candidate looking for a boost might take before a big night like tonight's presidential debate, again, according to medical professionals interviewed by the New York Post. Let's start with peptides for clarity. Ms. Karabi said that VIP clients who need to be at their sharpest mentally often seek treatments like peptide infusions. Peptides are small amino acid chains that occur naturally inside the body, with each type playing different roles in various biological functions like muscle growth, digestion, hormone production, and tissue repair. She said there are also peptides that support cognitive function. Give Uncle Joe a double dose of those. She said those things have actually been proven to have a side effect of easing the mind and giving more clarity when someone is speaking. They find their words more easily, and what our clients tell us over and over again, Karabi said. Peptides are often given via an IV infusion. Then she says another favorite treatment among the powerful and well-heeled is nicotinamide. I can't even say this word, dinucleotide. It's a therapy, she said, which is known to ease anxiety and reduce stress. NADs, as they're known, are coenzymes that, again, naturally occur in our bodies, and our cells would be unable to generate the energy they need to function without them. Ms. Karabi said NADs work on your cells at the basic level and can really impact your brain cells, personality, and cognitive areas. People who have been on heavy doses of ADHD or anxiety medication are finding they can set them aside and end up feeling much better. As for what effect these treatments could potentially have, typically given, again, intravenously, would have on a couple of 80-year-old politicians, she said the hope would be that it would help them feel more naturally calm and more articulate. Look, I can guarantee you Donald Trump does not need any help. Donald Trump will not be taking anything for tonight's debate. Now, here's the one, though, that's intriguing that I mentioned a minute ago, and that's the Botox. She said in the area of 100-inch 4K TVs, the candidate's physical appearance during the debates will also be an area of consternation for their respective teams. Too much sweat under the bright studio lighting could telegraph nervousness or weakness, like Richard Nixon in 1960, where he just sweated profusely debating JFK. She said, but modern medicine has found a way to treat flop sweat, and it's called Botox. She told the New York Post, you might use Botox for sweating a week before. You might inject them around the hands, the feet, the forehead, as well as decrease the amount of sweating when you're under the hot lights. Another dermatologic surgeon from Lenox Hill Hospital, Dr. Howard Sobel, said you saw what happened to Giuliani, referencing what I was saying earlier, saying that this could keep someone from sweating profusely. Vitamin B12 shots for energy. Other last-minute boosts include vitamin B infusion drips, which can increase the health of the brain and increase energy as well. The docs say that of the drips, it's a quick pick-me-up. You can do it the day before, and people mix it with other vitamins. Injections of vitamin B12 often given in the rear end or upper thigh, thus the shot in the butt that Donald Trump is talking about, also provide a range of potential benefits for the candidates, from increasing energy levels and combating fatigue for helping improve focus. You know, maybe Joe Biden will have, you know how diabetics can wear those automatic insulin injectors? What if Biden has one of those on him and we can't see it, and it's just injecting him with B12 throughout the evening? Then, of course, there's Adderall. The New York Post writes, there's also the popular ADHD medication Adderall, long abused by students at all-night study sessions in college dorms. Sobel, noting that the pills take effect within 30 minutes and last for about 7 hours, says, what does it do? It improves listening skills, helps someone pay attention, and seem more alert, attentive, and less sleepy. Joe Biden definitely needs to appear less sleepy. Finally, the final drug is called Provigil. Provigil. It's another prescription drug, and it decreases excessive sleepiness, according to Dr. Sobel. To be clear, none of these treatments is illegal, he said, and neither medical professional has provided any form of care to either Biden or to Donald Trump, who were interviewed by the New York Post, they said. However, if either politician was seeking a boost to weather the rigors of what is sure to be a bruising rematch, it's probably worth the option to look at some of these. And I guarantee you, this has not even crossed Donald Trump's mind. Will Joe Biden be getting a shot of B12? Would not surprise me. Are you planning to watch the debate tonight? I hope you're going to be watching it with us, as News Talk 98.9 WORD will be at Willie Tacos along with the 4th District Republican Club and Young Greenville. You are invited. No tickets needed. Just show up tonight with your smiling face and join the entire News Talk 98.9 WORD family. Tara will be there, Bill Frady, Charlie James, myself. Hope to see you there as well tonight, starting at 8. Hope you'll join the conversation today. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Send your comments to the Firmin Ford text line. You can leave a quick voice message, and your emails are always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Joey Hudson here. I was talking to a good friend the other day, and he mentioned that he has started taking the weight loss injection drug that was initially made to treat type 2 diabetes. He said he's losing weight, but the day after he takes the injection, he is so sick he can't leave the house. That got me thinking. Most of us go on a weight loss journey so that we can feel better and get healthy. Folks, losing weight should not make you sick. I can tell you firsthand, 4 years ago when I started PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, I was never hungry or agitated. I never felt sick. In fact, I felt great the very first week. The PhD side effects are better sleep, more energy, smaller clothes, and a general sense of well-being. Getting healthy should not make you sick, and it shouldn't make you dependent on a drug either. Simply put, PhD is freedom. You will not be dependent on a drug because there are no drugs. You'll learn to eat for your body, and you won't gain the weight back. They have a lifetime maintenance program, and PhD teaches you to trust yourself and your knowledge. Call them today, 864-252-4925. Find them online at myphdweightloss.com. That's 864-252-4925. You know, we're always speculating about who's going to win in November. And, of course, tonight, with the debate tonight, it really kind of brings everything home to us. It makes it more imminent that we are going to be voting in just a matter of months. Before you know it, literally in just a few weeks, I'll be in Milwaukee talking with you from the Republican National Convention, where Donald Trump will become official. He will become officially the nominee. Then a few weeks later, the Democrats will gather in Chicago. Who knows whether Joe Biden will become official? A lot of speculation that Joe Biden is still not going to be the final name on the ballot. We'll see. In the coming months, there's going to be poll after poll after poll. And every time, like we always do, I'm guilty of it. So I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. We're going to scramble around. We're going to talk about the polls, the latest polls. Latest poll said this. The latest poll has Biden up. The latest poll has Trump up. And that's typically how it is. This year's a little bit different, though, because Trump has consistently won in most of the polls. And he has consistently been the leader in some of the battleground states. Nate Silver is one of the masters of manipulating the numbers. Fox News reporting that Nate Silver says there's a clear front runner in the 2024 presidential race, according to his election analysis. He is considered a statistical guru. The data that he has unveiled in his quadrennial model yesterday, and he puts all these numbers in this formula that he has, and he's right most of the time. He started off by giving former President Donald Trump a 65.7% chance of victory over Joe Biden on November the 5th. His current prediction, based on 40,000 simulations run through his model, predicts that Biden is likely to edge out Trump in the national popular vote by 0.1 of a percentage point, 47.2% to 47.1%. Wow. However, in the all-important Electoral College, because that's all that matters is the Electoral College, Silver's model has Trump receiving 287 electoral votes, just above the 270 needed to go back to the White House. Silver, in a blog post, wrote, "The candidate who I honest to God think has a better chance, Trump, isn't the candidate I'd rather have win, Biden." He said the presidential election isn't a toss-up. If the Electoral College popular vote gap looks anything like it did in 2016 or 2020, you'd expect Biden to be in deep trouble if the popular vote is roughly tied, he said. Now, what you have to remember is the last president, a Republican presidential candidate to win the popular vote was George W. Bush in 2004, 20 years ago. That's just, when I read that number, I mean, I knew that, but when I saw it in black and white, it's just amazing to me that we don't have a Republican who can win the popular vote and the Electoral College. That's what Hillary Clinton was so upset about. She won the popular vote easily, and Donald Trump burst her glass ceiling theory and won the Electoral College. She couldn't believe it. She still doesn't believe it. The biggest problem, though, Silver says, facing the incumbent Joe Biden, is that he needs to run the table in the same battleground states that he supposedly won 4 years ago. Silver says if Biden loses Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and he trails badly in each, he'll need to win all three of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. He said, in our simulations, Biden wins at least one of these states 54% of the time, but he wins all three of them only 32% of the time in his simulations. This is the sort of precision that a model can provide that your intuition really can't, he noted. Silver's prediction pits him against the odds with 538, which is the company he founded and departed last year, which currently gives Biden a 51% chance of being victorious in November. Mr. Silver, of course, gained national prominence during the 2012 campaign when he correctly predicted that Barack Obama would be reelected despite claims from conservatives that his analysis was biased against Republican nominee Mitt Romney. Look, I'd even forgot about Mitt Romney being the Republican nominee. I try to put that out of my mind. Yesterday, he wrote that the 2024 race looks a lot like 2012 in reverse, when national polls were often close, but the swing states polls consistently favored Obama and gave him the far more robust map. Earlier this month, Mr. Silver issued a stark warning about Biden's prospects, even musing about whether he should drop out of the race. You remember this? We talked about it briefly. Nate Silver grabbed headlines when he suggested that maybe because Biden is so far underwater, maybe he should consider leaving the race. Also yesterday, in other news outside of what Nate Silver was talking about, Trump surged ahead in the new Quinnipiac University poll of registered voters to take a 4 percentage point lead over Biden, now coming in at 49% to 45%. In the same poll last month, Biden led by a single point, 48 to 47. So think about that. In just a month's time, Joe Biden went from a 1-point lead to a 4-point deficit now. Now, when you use a six-way matchup, Trump's lead widens to 6 points because, there's this theory that with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the Green Party candidate Jill Stein, who's always running, I think she's run every year, you have independent Cornel West. If each of them carve out a little piece of it, that it could hurt Donald Trump. Doesn't appear to hurt Trump. In fact, it seemed to help him when you threw in these independent candidates into the mix. Quinnipiac's poll also showed that 55% of voters felt Trump shouldn't be thrown in prison due to his guilty verdict in the Manhattan hush money case, while 40% want him put behind bars. The former president's sentencing, by the way, as a reminder, is July the 11th, just days before the Republican National Convention starts. So when it came to first son Hunter Biden in the poll, 51% said that he should be sentenced to prison on federal weapons charges, while 38% felt that he should not. Now, that's kind of a twist, isn't it? That has to really rub the Bidens the wrong way. That 55% of Americans don't believe Trump should go to jail, yet 51% of Americans believe the first son, Hunter Biden, should in fact be behind bars. Whether you're replacing a broken appliance or maybe you're just upgrading, you're totally remodeling the kitchen, when it's time to get those new appliances, when you're ready for them, you don't want to have to wait weeks or even months to get started using them, right? Well, that's not the case when you shop with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. With over 11,000 square feet and 1,500 appliances at any given time, you can buy today and use today quite often. I'm talking about shopping with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse in Pickens. It's worth the short drive over to Pickens. Jeff, Johnny, Kyle, the whole team over there, they'll take good care of you. They have an award-winning service department, expert installation, extended warranties, and at Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they treat you like family. You're more than just a credit card swipe to all the team over there. Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they're proud to offer Speed Queen, the only washer and dryers with manufacturer's warranties that cover parts and labor. You owe it to yourself, if you're looking for a new appliance, to head over to Pickens to Discounted Appliance Warehouse online at dawpickens.com, dawpickens.com. Yesterday, I rode over to Spartanburg for a few minutes. I had promised my friend Alexa Newman, who is the executive director of Carolina Pregnancy Center, that I would help with some moving. They're moving to their new facility in Spartanburg, and boy, from what I understand, it's going to be very nice. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see all of that because as I was headed out yesterday morning, Peg called me in and she said, I'm not feeling well. I don't feel that good. And of course, we're leaving, or hopefully leaving, on Friday for our Patriot cruise on Holland America in Alaska with Dr. Sebastian Gorka and Mike Gallagher. So we've been packing, trying to get everything done, and just trying to get ahead of things. And suddenly Peg is not feeling well. So my friend Danny Green, my longtime high school friend, he was going to help me yesterday, and we were meeting over near Greer. We're going to ride over together. So, it's sort of a last minute thing. Peg needed to get to the doctor. So I met Danny because they needed my trailer. So I met Danny. We drove over to Carolina Pregnancy Center. I talked with Alexa. I said, look, I can't stay here. I got to go home, get Peg to the doctor. She's not feeling well. But my friend Danny stayed there with my truck and trailer, and they were able to get some desk and office furniture and stuff moved to the new facility. By the way, let me ask you to say a prayer for Peg. We need for her to be healed quickly so that she can make this trip with us. It turns out that she has diverticulitis, and it's the first time she's ever had this. Some people, have this on a recurring basis. This was her first experience. Very painful. She had a fever. The doc seems to think that with the meds that she gave her yesterday, she'll be ready to travel by Friday. We pray that she is. So say a prayer of healing for my sweet Peg. I said all that to say this, because I was at Carolina Pregnancy Center yesterday. They're moving into this big, new, beautiful facility with the idea to save life, to help these young women and young men who find themselves in a position of being pregnant, but yet they're not quite sure about raising that child or bringing that child into the world. And that's what Carolina Pregnancy Center does, and boy, did they do it well. The issue of abortion is alive and well in our country. It is a very polarizing issue. The Supreme Court, you remember when we were all anticipating the decision on Roe v. Wade, and there was a brief that was leaked? Well, this happened again yesterday. The Supreme Court appears ready to temporarily allow abortions in medical emergencies in a case in Idaho. Bloomberg News reported yesterday, citing a document that was inadvertently posted on the Supreme Court's website, and it's just an astonishing breach of protocol that this happened again. You would have thought that they would have buttoned everything up a couple of years ago when this happened. But no, it happened again. And you have to ask yourself, was it a mistake? Or is there someone within the Supreme Court who's doing this on purpose? This unsigned opinion showed that 3 conservatives, Chief Justice John Roberts, Justices Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, are siding with the 3 liberals on the court to block the state from enforcing the ban in certain emergency situations. The court acknowledged that a document was briefly posted, but the administrator of the court stressed that no opinion is final until announced by the justices. The abortion case is considered among the most significant of the current term that's winding down ahead of the July 4th holiday. Again, it's the second time in a couple of years that a major decision dealing with abortion has been prematurely released. 2 years ago, it was Politico, which obtained a draft of the opinion overturning Roe v. Wade. Now, that document was substantially the same as the final opinion that was released a few weeks later. Turned out to be very accurate. At issue in this case is Idaho's strict abortion ban, which provides an exception for the life of the pregnant woman. The Biden administration argued that a federal law also requires hospitals to perform abortions in cases where the health of the pregnant woman is at stake. Now, this decision means that an order from a trial judge that had blocked the enforcement of Idaho's abortion ban in medical emergencies would have to go back into effect while this case continues to be argued in lower courts. This ruling, granted, is a temporary win for the Biden administration, but it would leave unresolved the central question of whether federal law protects access to abortion in medical emergencies. And it's not likely to end the precariousness and the uncertainty that doctors say they feel about how to navigate strict abortion bans while caring for their patients. Steve Vladeck, a CNN Supreme Court analyst who was quoted yesterday, he's also a professor at the University of Texas School of Law, said if the reporting is accurate, this would be a significant but temporary victory for the Biden administration, allowing this law to be enforced. Now, this Supreme Court spokeswoman, Patricia McCabe, confirmed that, in fact, a document was inadvertently briefly uploaded to the court's website. She stressed that the opinion in this case has not been released and would be issued in due course, she said. So here's what you need to know about what happened yesterday. The copy that Bloomberg reviewed, again, showed a 6-3 vote with 3 conservatives siding with the liberals to allow this emergency abortion. But they did so for different reasons. The court's 3 liberals argued in a concurrence by Justice Elena Kagan that the court erred when it allowed the state to enforce the law temporarily while the Supreme Court considered the case. The state ban, Justice Kagan wrote, prevents hospitals from doing what the federal law commands. The decision will give Idaho women access to all needed medical treatment that the federal law guarantees. Justice Amy Coney Barrett, in a separate concurrence, joined by Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Brett Kavanaugh, made a different point. Barrett argued that Idaho appears to be able to enforce its ban in the vast majority of circumstances. Barrett's point is that she doesn't believe there's a significant conflict between what the Biden administration wants and Idaho because of the changes that were made to the Idaho law as the litigation has unfolded. The Department of Justice and the White House, when asked, declined to comment on Bloomberg's story and the mistakenly posted document. They deferred to the Supreme Court until the opinion is actually released. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson agreed with the decision to temporarily block enforcement of Idaho ban, but she dissented from the court's decision to dismiss the case. So you got the liberals, of course, on the side of the court who are wanting one thing, and these 3 conservatives who appear on the surface to have agreed on a temporary basis. How abortion bans have been playing out in medical emergencies has emerged as a particular explosive political issue all around the country after Roe v. Wade's reversal. The Idaho ban at issue allowed abortions if a pregnant woman's life is at stake, but not her health. 6 states have bans like Idaho's that include no exceptions for the health of a pregnant woman. The Justice Department has said, though, several of those laws are the subject of the litigation. The Biden administration argued Idaho's ban could force patients to, for instance, endure hysterectomies and other lifelong complications if doctors decline to provide an abortion in the emergency room. A U.S. District Court judge in Idaho last year blocked enforcement of the state law. A 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals paused that decision, which allowed the law to take effect. Weeks later, the full Ninth Circuit reversed the panel's decision, putting enforcement of the law on hold again. And then back in January, the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case and allow the state law to take effect while it did so. Abortion rights groups have been careful not to celebrate this document that was inadvertently posted, instead saying that the justices' rulings would merely delay a future decision that may restrict abortion access in emergency situations. Justice Jackson wrote separately saying that she wouldn't have dismissed the case. She said, "Today's decision is not a victory for pregnant patients in Idaho. It is a delay." While this court dawdles and the country waits, pregnant people experiencing emergency medical conditions remain in a precarious position as their doctors are kept in the dark about what the law requires. It was particularly wrong, Jackson said, because the court had had allowed Idaho for months this strict abortion law to remain in effect. She wrote, "It is too little, too late for the court to take a mulligan and just tell the lower courts to carry on as if none of this has happened." The Justice Department sued Idaho over its abortion ban back in August of 2022, a few weeks before it was scheduled to take effect. It argued that a federal law known as the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, EMTALA, required hospitals that receive Medicare funding to offer the procedure in medical emergencies. The law passed in 1986 requires those hospitals to provide, quote, stabilizing treatments for emergency room patients who are facing serious harm to their bodily functions. Congress enacted the Emergency Act to stop hospitals from turning away patients who could not afford their care. Some have said that patients have used this as a way to get an abortion. Hope you'll join the conversation today. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Send your comments to the Firmin Ford text line. You can leave a quick voice message, and your emails are always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Firmin Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Firmin Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Firmin Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Firmin, Matthew Firmin. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Firmin Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Firmin Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Firmin Ford online at FirminFord.com, FirminFord.com. Boy, you guys were busy on the text line yesterday. I received a lot of text messages yesterday, more than usual. A lot of it, of course, about the election results, primarily in the 3rd Congressional District. Keep those text messages coming. I love them. Emails as well, joey@joeyhudson.com. On the text line, Paul writes, how can I watch the Trump-Biden showdown without cable TV tonight? Even listening would be great. Is your radio, WORD, assembly going to be broadcasting? We will carry the debate on 98.9 WORD, so just keep it on 98.9, and you can listen to the debate here tonight. Of course, we'll be at our debate watch party at the Willie Tacos on Lawrence Road. So one last reminder of that. We'd love for you to join us. Come join Tara, Bill, Charlie. Bobby Mack is going to make an appearance, I'm told. Yours truly, I'll be there. We're going to have a fun evening tonight. in partnership with the 4th District Republican Club and Young Greenville for this special presidential debate watch party at Willie Tacos. So come join us. It's a free event. There'll be TVs everywhere, and we'll be able to watch this debacle together. Of course, Joe Biden, with all these potential drugs that he could be on, he may do fine. Who knows? But love to have you there joining us. If you're listening somewhere in the upstate of South Carolina, western North Carolina, just come on over to Lawrence Road to Willie Tacos. Patty says, I'm listening to Tara. This was yesterday. Listening to Tara, did not realize how close the vote was, even with the sheriff's endorsement. Oconee County isn't as familiar with the radio show, and my evangelism hasn't worked yet. Cliff's folks probably helped a good bit, along with our councilman, John Elliott. This in reference to Sherry Biggs' win in the 3rd Congressional District. Look, Patty, keep that evangelizing going, because we need for Oconee County to know about News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas and the voice of Oconee County. Susan writes, what they jacked Biden up with for the State of the Union enabled him to focus whatever was written on the teleprompter, but he couldn't get Laken Riley's name right, even though it was written on the button that MTG gave him. Unless the debate questions and answers are written on a teleprompter, I'm expecting him to do a lot of incoherent mumbling. Maybe so, Susan. Have you listened to the whole show today, Susan? When I earlier went through some of the potential drugs, and Donald Trump is convinced they're going to give him a shot in the butt. We'll see. Texter, good morning. I listen to your show regularly. Your statement about loving her crystal ball is demonic. Hard to hear those words coming from a Christian, ? Think I know what you meant. However, your words are powerful. I'm assuming this is in reference to Jennifer had written me a note. I think it was yesterday. So I guess if you're listening today, I think you're responding to a text from Jennifer that I responded to yesterday, and trying to be funny, I said something about Jennifer's crystal ball. Sorry if that offended you. I didn't mean it in a demonic way whatsoever. And look, I don't believe in crystal balls. To clear the record here, it was a joke. It was a joke. Texter, South Carolina has to close the primaries, or the Democrats will continue to pick our candidates for us. I came from Western New York, and they don't have open primaries, if you can believe that. Kirk, thank you, Kirk. Appreciate that. I hope you love living in South Carolina. This is a question that's been debated for a long time now as to whether or not we will ever close our primaries. Do you think it will really help? I'm not convinced that the Democrats are smart enough and organized enough to have their people come over and vote in our primaries enough to make a difference. Yes, I'm sure there are a few Democrats who voted in Republican primary. There may have been a few Republicans who voted in the Democrat primary. But I don't think there's ever enough to really make a difference. I'm not buying this argument that we had a lot of crossover voting. Maybe so. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think so. Texter says, Joey, they're going to put a chair beside Biden to sit in, so if he gets sleepy, he can lay his head down between questions. Well, they're turning the microphones off between questions, so why not let you take a little cat nap? Am I allowed to say cat nap? Texter says, come on, Joey, say it out loud. My South Carolina 3rd District fell to a rhino, all because Trump backed the wrong candidate. I have had a lot of questions on how Pastor Mark Burns got the Trump endorsement and what that whole process looked like. Texter says South Carolina 3rd District is all Trump's fault for not endorsing Stuart Jones. So there, one person not happy because he endorsed Mark Burns. Another thinks he should have endorsed Stuart Jones. Texter, I'm so tired of trying to stay informed when most others just don't give a crap. The turnout, I don't care. Some people have been spinning the turnout in Tuesday's primary runoffs, that, well, it was higher than it was 2 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever. It's still, when you have, what was it, statewide, less than 7% of people who showed up to vote in an important election, folks, that doesn't cut it. And boy, it's scary thinking about this heading into November. Texter says, I can't believe how so many people could care less about getting out to it. That's my point. I don't see how they do either. Joel sent us a text of encouragement today. Says, you were given life because you are strong enough to live it. God bless. Thank you. Appreciate that. Email from Janice. Please check out what Supreme Court ruled today. It's not good. Our rights are being taken day by day. Many on the Supreme Court need to volunteer for our outer space duty. You want to put them in a rocket ship and blast them into space is what you're saying there, Janice, huh? Appreciate your text message. Sorry if I didn't get to yours. They're all welcome. I'll read them all. Send them to the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Emails are welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. One final thing before we wrap up today. Are you watching the debate? If you're not, then you're going to be in the minority because, according to several different polls, Americans are going to be watching tonight. Most adults plan to watch some part of tonight's presidential debate. Many think the event will be important for the campaigns of both Joe Biden and Donald Trump, according to a new poll by the AP Nork Center for Public Affairs Research. Both men remain broadly unpopular, according to the poll, as they prepare to face off for another time since 2020. About 6 in 10 U.S. adults say that they are extremely or very likely to watch the debate live or in clips, or read about or listen to commentary about the performance of the candidates in the news or social media, or maybe on Sunrise, Carolina, because I'll have full details tomorrow for you, my full analysis of what Joe Biden did say, did not say, what he should have said. The poll suggests that tens of millions of Americans are likely to see or hear about at least part of tonight's debate, despite how unusually early it comes in the campaign season. And look, this is going to be the best ratings CNN has had in quite some time. They're loving it. They haven't had this many people watch CNN since maybe the Queen died or something. USA Today says that Americans have tuned into the Biden-Trump debate in great numbers before. Candidates in September 2020 debate was one of the most watched ever, with more than 73 million viewers. We'll see. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined our mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Just click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, find me on YouTube. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on my YouTube channel. Just search for Joey Hudson. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with me. Be sure and forward this edition of Just the Truth to some friends. Just click on the share button. Send it to a few of your contacts, because if we're going to build our community and if we're going to win in November, we got to build an army of conservatives. The way we beat Joe Biden is through educating people, and no better way than encouraging them to listen to Just the Truth. Hey, keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Your emails always welcome as well. Joey@joeyhudson.com. Don't forget to take advantage of the MyPillow special, $25 for the My Towels 6-piece towel set when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. We're back again tomorrow. Hope you will be too. Remember, God's got this. He's still in control.